Hi, welcome to the quick intro of the Protractor tool. Protractor is nothing but an end-to-end automation testing framework tool for your AngularJS apps. So let's try to understand what are the prerequisites for using the Protractor tool. So you have to have Java installed on your machine. I already have the Java installed on my machine. I'm not going to walk you through those settings, but let me show you the URL where you can download and install your Java JDK. So just head over to this URL and you should be able to download the JDK, whatever the latest JDK is available at that time. So once you have downloaded and installed, the second thing that you have to do is that you have to download Node and install on your machine. So based on the processor that you have, either a 32-bit processor or a 64-bit processor, we have two different installers available. So download that and install it. The reason why we are downloading Node is that Protractor is basically a Node application, so it runs on the Node, and we have to have the Node installed on our machine to be able to run the Protractor tests. So once you have installed Node.js, the next thing that you want to do is that you have to install Protractor. So for that, what you can do is that you can head over to your terminal and give the command npm. Basically, when you have installed the Node, what happens is that a npm package will be installed on your machine. So let me walk you through that. So go to your local disk or wherever your operating system is placed in your machine, and inside that go to users and head over to the user that you have on your machine. In my case it is MOINU. So double click on that and you will be able to find app data. If you are not able to find this, which means that you have not enabled the hidden files. So this is a hidden file and you have to enable to be able to view the hidden files. So click on the app data and then click on roaming, and once you are inside the roaming folder, you'll be able to see a package with the name npm. Forget about the npm cache for now. So let's move into the npm package. So go to npm package and you will be able to see this node_modules. Inside that you will see the Protractor. The reason that you are already seeing the Protractor and some other few files is because I have worked a little on the node_modules and I have worked on the Protractor. So once you have downloaded and installed Node.js, the next thing that you have to do is that install the Protractor. And how you can do is that head over to your terminal and give this command npm, and npm, by the way, it stands for Node Package Manager, and give install -g Protractor. So what we are saying is that from the npm, from the Node Package Manager, install Protractor. And what is this -g option? This option enables you to install Protractor globally, so that you do not have to work from where the Protractor is installed on your machine. You are free to run your Protractor tests throughout your operating system, throughout your Windows operating system in this case. So once you have installed that, just click on that, and right now I have set up a few things, and that is the reason why I won't be getting a lot of errors. You'll be able to see one error, hopefully. That should be buffer util. Right now we are really not concerned about that. So if you are getting buffer util related errors, you can just ignore that and continue with your Protractor tests. In some cases you might get a couple of errors saying that Python is not installed. The reason that it will throw Python not installed is because Node.js, it's run in the with the help of Node.js build is run with the Python. So you have to download and install Python. You see that the Node GYP, that is group your program or your project. So once you go okay, so a lot of things have been installed right now. Okay, you can see that all these things, these are the default things that gets installed with the Protractor. But let me show you the error that I was talking about, right? So this is the error that I'm talking about. You will see that there is this error called buffer util. Okay, you can just ignore for this moment. Maybe that the npm package for for the buffer util is not properly aligned, or it's not working at this point of time. But you shouldn't be concerned about that, because we are not going to use that in our protractor test at this point of time. So the next thing that you have to do is that you will get a couple of errors that I told initially. So what you need to do is that you have to go to Python site. Okay, so you have to go to Python and go to downloads, and make sure that you download only this version. Okay, that is 2.x version. Do not download 3.x, because the build that is the node, the programs that will be run is based on the Python 2.x, not 3.x. Okay, so both 3.x is entirely different from 2.x of Python, so you should not be running 3.x. It will not work. So once you have installed that, downloaded and installed Python, the next error that you might be getting is that some Microsoft .NET framework, or you have to install Microsoft Studio. Okay, in my case, just give me a second. Have installed the Visual Studio. So try to install that and you should be fine. So once you have done all those, so let me try to run this, write it here. So once you have installed Protractor, the next thing is that Python and Visual Studio. And by the way, we are not going to work on Visual Studio. There are some dependent it has got some dependency with Visual Studio, and that is the reason why we are downloading and installing the Visual Studio. So once you are done with that, right now don't be concerned about Eclipse or WebStorm at this point of time. These are the IDEs that we are going to use, but right now just simple Notepad is enough. And if you are having Notepad++, that also works fine. Okay, so either is fine. You can just open either of that. So let me try to open. In my case, actually I'm having Notepad++. So once you have downloaded and installed everything, right, from all these 5 things, the next thing that you have to do is that head over to your Protractor. Okay, inside roaming, go to npm and node_modules, and inside the Protractor, and here you will be able to see a folder called example. This is an example small project, kind of a small project that has come with the Protractor download and install. So just double click on that and you will be able to see 2 files here. One is the conf file and the other is the example_spec file. So let's try to understand this first. Okay, so what I'm going to do is that I'm going to open WebStorm. I'm not going to use Eclipse or Notepad or Notepad++ for this example. The reason is that you'll not get the IntelliSense if you use Notepad++, and Eclipse, working Protractor on Eclipse, you have to do some kind of configurations. And I just wanted to keep this video as simple as possible and as short as possible as a Protractor intro. So I did not wanted to choose Eclipse. So for that reason, I have chosen WebStorm. So let me open this, and what I'm going to do is that I'm going to create. I have already created one project earlier, so I'm going to create a new project. Just give me a second. I'm going to create a new project, and I will call it as. By the way, you can give caps and whatever it is, it's fine. I'll say YouTube Protractor Peter, just some okay, and I'll say project. So click create, and I'll say new window. So it will open in a new window. So right now if you see, there are no files here. What I'm going to do is that I'm going to copy these 2 files. So I just copied these 2 files and head over to here and paste it, Control V, and it will ask for copying those. So we are good right now. If you see here, we are going to get a lot of errors, but before that, let's try to understand what is there in conf file and what is there in spec file. Okay, spec file is nothing but in simple terms, this is a place where you write your test cases, and conf file is nothing but all the configurations, like what browser you want to run, what framework that you want to run. Right now the default framework that gets installed with with Protractor is Jasmine, but you can also work with Mocha, you can work with Cucumber, or you can have your own framework. That's also possible. And the next thing is that you have to specify what are your spec files. Here, if you see here, example underscore spec.java is our file, so that is what we have mentioned here. I do not want if you do not want to mention it like this, if you are having multiple files, then how you have to do, just remove this example and just include asterisk. That's enough. Okay, that's enough. So that is how it will do. Okay, once you are done with this, the next thing that you have to do is that whatever the options that have got with Jasmine node options, okay, you can use this. So Jasmine is a very wonderful framework, and whatever that you are seeing, the describe, the before each, eight, expect, all these are coming from Jasmine framework. Right now, if you see, if I hover on this link, you will be able to see that there is something called unresolved function or method. The reason is that we have not added the protractor or whatever the libraries that we are using for these two files here. And before doing that, let me try to run this program first. Okay, if I try to run this program here, run example underscore spec, I'll get an error. Okay, I'll get an error. Describe is not identified, something like this. So for that, what we have to do is that, and just to make sure that you understand, we don't run individual specification files. We will run it from the conf.js. That is where all our metadata of the project is located. So even if you try to run from the run conf.js file, you will get some error. Process finished with exit code 0. Because Protractor is unable to, WebStorm is unable to understand about the setup of your Protractor, right? So for that, what we have to do is that we have to head over to this option. Whatever that you see a down arrow, click on that and click on edit savings. Okay, and right now I have configured here, so that's why you are seeing this. But if you click on this plus option, you will see node here. Okay, node.js. Click on that, and instead of unnamed, give some name. You can say Protractor. So whatever the name that you give here, instead of conf.js here, the Protractor will show up. Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is that you have to give the give a file path here. Okay, now what is the file path? There is a file called cli.js inside our Protractor, and that is what we have to pass as a parameter to this JavaScript file. So let me show you that. So once we are here, go to node modules, go to Protractor, and inside your inside your lib folder, you will see a file called cli.js. So the way that you give that is that like this. Okay, just Control A, Control C, and head over to this place and just give Control V. That's it. Okay, and also we have to pass the application parameter. What is the application parameters that we have to pass? Is nothing but the path of the conf.js file. Okay, right now I have not copied that, so there is a shortcut that I'll show you how you can get the path of the conf.js. So you see that I have got Protractor, but if I try to run it now, it will fail. Okay, it will fail because we have not given the conf.js path. So to do that, the way that you do is that right click on the conf.js and click on copy path, and once you are here, click on edit settings, and head over to the Protractor, that is the name we have given, and inside the application parameters, just enter that parameter, that is nothing but conf.js. Click on apply and OK. That's it. And make sure that you do not right click and click on this run conf.js. It will not work because we have configured the runner specifically here. So once you are here, if you are having multiple runners like me, click on Protractor, okay, or whatever the name that you have given, and click on this button. So once you click on this, what happens is that we have given the default name of the browser as Chrome. So Chrome will open, and what it will do is that it will navigate to this AngularJS. It will navigate to this browser and it will perform some things here. Okay, and Right now I have not written any code, but I'll also write it and I'll show you in a couple of minutes. So click on that. Looks like we have got some error, could not find Chrome driver. Okay, the reason that why it has not found the Chrome driver is that we have installed the protractor, right? But there, if you go inside this inside the protractor, and if you go to bin, you will be able to see this WebDriver manager. Okay, this is a Selenium WebDriver manager that has come. But what we have to do is that with the help of the WebDriver manager tool that we have got, okay, WebDriver hyphen manager, we have to install the Chrome and all. Okay, so for that what we have to do is that you just give WebDriver hyphen manager and say install. Okay, oh, hold on a second, it's not the install command, it's update, sorry, it's update is the command that you have to give, so that it will download the Chrome related you see here it's downloading the Selenium server, the standalone Selenium server, and also it is downloading the Chrome driver, where actually our Chrome files will be running, right? So just give it a couple of minutes, it should be able to download. So meanwhile, if I open this here and go to node modules, protractor, and click on node modules, you will be able to see the Selenium hyphen WebDriver. You know, this is what actually is been downloaded right now. Okay, and along with that some other files will also be downloaded. Just give it a couple of seconds, it should be able to complete it. Alright, if you see here the Chrome driver, the Selenium standalone driver, everything got installed. So the next thing that we have to do is that so everything is set up, so just click on this run button, the run green button, and the first thing it will do is that it will launch the WebDriver, which is in our case it is nothing but Chrome driver. So you will see that now the test cases would start running. And by the way, protractor tests are very fast. You know, it is humanly impossible at times to even see what's happening in the tests. Okay, so just bear that in mind when you are running the protractor tests. Unlike the Selenium tests or QTP tests that you might have run in the past, these are kind of, you know, super fast and will run your test cases in no time. You know, you don't have to put that in patch and go and have your lunch or dinner. Okay, it's not like a traditional tool where it doesn't take a whole lot of time. Okay, so once you are done with that, so that is all about you know, a sample test. But let me do one thing. Okay, let me try to remove all these things and show and let me show you, you know, how things work here. Okay, so the whatever that I'm going to write are from the, okay, before that okay, why don't I do this? Okay, so if you head over here and mouse over on these global functions, we call these as globals. Okay, so when you hover on these are from the Jasmine framework. But if you see here, you are getting you know, the tooltips as unresolved function or method describe, right? The same case with accept, the same case with element, you know, which is nothing but a global of protractor. So what we need to do is that we need to add the you know, whatever things that we have used, right? The protractor or the Jasmine, the JavaScript files and all, to our path here in this project, right? So we have to add that. The way that we add, and by the way, these all as I told earlier, is Node, right? Everything is run on Node. So the way that we do is that first thing that I have to do is that I have to copy this path first, and I want to change the directory to that location. Okay, just give me a second. So I have right now I'm inside this YouTube Protractor project. Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is that you have to create a file called package.json. Okay, we don't do that manually. With the help of Node we can do that. Okay, so what you can do is that give npm init. Okay, so we are initializing the Node package manager here. Okay, if you see here, it will clearly say that this utility will walk you through creating a package.json file. You will understand why we are creating it here. Okay, so just give some name. I'll just say some test. Okay, okay, the caps are not allowed, sorry. And version, I'm just going to keep the same, so click enter. Description, I'll say a quick demo of Protractor. Okay, and entry point and all these things. We are not going to create a node applications, right? So I'm really not concerned at this point of time. And the same with the test command. And also I'm not going to give any git repository here. Neither I'm going to give any keywords. For author, I'm going to give my name, my first name Khaja, and license, not worried about that. Okay, so this is the simple file that will be created. Okay, this is a simple what is that package.json file. Okay, the JavaScript object notation file that will be created. So I'm fine with that. That is the basic thing that gets created. I'm fine with that. Head over to here and you will be able to see the package.json file. But we are not over it. Okay, then we have to add the dependencies. So for that, what you have to do is that head over to npmsjs.com. okay, npmjs.org. okay, that is node package manager javascript.org, and which will redirect to .com. So once you are here, we have to just add a couple of things right now. Okay, the first thing is protractor. So we are going to add the basic protractor. So I don't want to add anything else right now. So I'm a little lazy, so I'm copying it from here. So what we will do is that we will add dev dependencies, and because that is an object, okay, I need to give a comma here because we are continuing with the object. So I have to give that inside as a key value pair here. Okay, so this is the key, and the value that I'm going to add is nothing but the version. So here I can give like this. And by the way, I'm going to show you one more thing after this. So the next thing that we have to do is that we have to add Jasmine, because that is the framework we are going to use, right? So there are a lot of things that comes with Jasmine, but right now I'm only interested in Jasmine core. I'm not interested in a lot of other things, except and all those things, though you can still use that. So core will help you for now. That should be good enough. So just give that. And what is the version? The version that we are going to use is 2.4.1. okay, head over to here. Okay, yeah, let me add Jasmine except also expect, which is nothing but assertions. Okay, Jasmine except is nothing but, if you have worked with JUnit or TestNG, you understand what assertions are, right? Or even if you have worked with Selenium, you might be understanding what assertions are. So just copy the version. Right now in this case, this is what the version that I'm going to give. So instead of leaving like this, what I am going to do is that I'm going to give tilde. Okay, what does tilde mean is that it will auto update any minor version that you get. Okay, so let's say that right now it is 3.1.1. tomorrow, let's say they release 3.1.2 package, right, or the version. You don't need to come to here and update it. Okay, as long as it is a minor version, you are free from editing this package.json file. It will take care of itself. Okay, so it will auto update. And there is another option. If you give a cap like this, okay, I don't know what you call that, I think exponent, right? So yeah, whatever it is, if you give this, what it will do is that whatever that it is having here, the major version, right, we call it as major, minor, and sub build version, something, people call it in different ways. It will not change this 3, but it will change this value, whatever the value that is here, with the latest one. Okay, right now I'm only concerned about the last one, that is the build or minor version, whatever you want to call. Right, so once we are here, the next thing that you have to do is that head over to this place and just say install. So now what it will do is that the node package manager will pick all the dependencies from here, and it will create something called as node underscore modules. You see here node underscore modules we have, so it will create very similar to that, and it will add to our project. So let me do that. Npm install. You see that we have not given any repositories, right? So that is why it is saying no repository field, and also we have not added any readme data file, right? So that is why it is adding warning that these two files are not existing. So just give it a couple of seconds or couple of minutes, based on your internet speed, based on your process speed, and etc. And you should be able to see that these packages have got installed. So I'm going to pause this video for a couple of minutes, and I'll be right back once everything is installed. Oh, hold on a second. I think everything is getting installed quite fast here, right? So okay, just give it a second then. Fine. So as I said earlier, don't be concerned about this buffer util thing. I have to figure out what exactly is the issue with that. Right now I couldn't figure out what exactly is that issue. Yeah, because I have not concentrated much on that, as we are not concerned about that. So everything got installed, right? The Jasmine, the Q, the admin zip, the optimistic, and Sauce Labs. By the way, we are not going to discuss about Sauce Lab. If you want to run your test cases remotely in a remote server, yes, you can do that with the help of Sauce Labs. And right now we are doing it through a standalone Selenium server, right? And we got Jasmine and as well as request, which we are not going to use, but we also got Selenium WebDriver, right? So head over to this place and just refresh this. Okay, I have not refreshed this. Okay, and you have got node underscore modules. So just click on this and you will be able to see that we got Jasmine core, Jasmine expect, Protractor. Okay, so the next thing that you have to do is that just head over to this place, and you will see all the errors that we got initially are disappeared now, right? So you just hover on this and you will not see any errors. Okay, if you are seeing any errors, which means that you have used the code that you have written, or the methods, or the functions that you have used inside this package, or sorry, inside this JavaScript file, are not from these packages. Okay, it might be from some other package, right? So that is all about this. So the next thing that I'm going to do is that I'm going to remove this. Okay, remove this, and I'm going to create a new test case. Okay, a very quick test case, so that you understand. So the test case that I'm talking about, let me walk you through that. So we have this URL. This is AngularJS.org. Okay, this is the URL. What it will do is that the test case that I'm going to run, what it will do is that it will launch this, launch a browser, pass the parameter as the URL, and open this page and head over here. It will just enter my name, if I enter KHAJA, you see that you are getting this value here, right? The hello Khaja. So I'm going to get this value and print it on the console. That's it. Okay, so for that, what we are going to do is that we are going to write our test case in this way. Okay, let me show you. So the first thing you do is that DES. Okay, I'm not okay, DESCRIB, describe. Okay, why is it throwing error? Is that spelling correct? Hold on a second, what's happening here? Why is it throwing error? DESCRIB, why is it again giving errors? What happened here? Okay, hold on a second. Fine, let's not concerned about that. Let me write it here. Okay, I'm going to write the code here, so let's be not concerned about that. Just give describe, and describe will take two parameters. Okay, the first one is a string parameter where you can define what. So describe here in this case acts as a test suite. Okay, so you can say that test suite for testing AngularJS.org website, something like this. Okay, and the next parameter that it accepts is a function. Okay, it accepts is a function, and you have to end with a semicolon. Okay, so that is how it works. The file is intended with 2 spaces instead of 4. Okay, I'm not concerned about that. The next thing that you have to do is that you can take advantage of it. Okay, you see that it here, right? So what you can take is that it is nothing but where you can define your test cases. Okay, and you can mention the test case here. So what is our test case? Input some value inside the input box, input field, and compare and print to console. Okay, the reason why I'm giving here all this information, SOLE, right? Okay, the reason why I'm giving all this information is that the more information that you give here, right, the more information that you give here, the better it will be for your analysis in if you have written some hundreds of test cases, you have to debug those, right? If some error comes tomorrow, if some error comes, you have to debug. So if you do not give proper names, you may not be able to understand where the error is occurring, right? So that is the reason. And again, this also accepts 2 parameters. Okay, one is a string, the other is the function. So I'm going to end this also with the semicolon. So right now we are done with this. I'm going to show you a quick peek of the Protractor API. Okay, so this is the Protractor API. Once you are familiar with a few things, then you can just come over here and try to use whatever that you whatever that you want to. Okay, don't worry, I'm going to show you the Protractor architecture also. It's very important for us to understand what's happening behind the scenes, right? So the very first thing that we have to do here is that using the browser object. Okay, this browser object which comes from the Selenium WebDriver, we are going to use this and browser, I am going to say browser.get. Okay, if you are from Selenium, you understand that, right? Driver.get is something that we use here. The browser is the global variable that we are going to use. So here inside this, you pass the parameter. The parameter is nothing but the URL. So what is the URL? This is the URL that we are going to give. So just pass that as the URL, and once you are there, the second thing that we are going to do is that once we are there, just to make sure that it works fine, I'm going to click on this. Okay, just click on that and you will see that it has launched the Chrome and it has navigated to AngularJS. Yes, so we need to ensure that it works fine. Okay, because if that doesn't work, then it really doesn't make a lot of sense to us to keep continue with this, but we need to debug what is the issue. So once we are there, the next thing is that we have to identify this element. Okay, just right click on this. I'm right now in Chrome browser, click on inspect. Okay, or if you want to launch this, there's a shortcut, press F12. Okay, and you will get this. And if you really want to have some other way, Control Shift plus I, and it will launch again. Okay, if you are not liking all these keyboard commands, then the next thing that you have to do is that click on this 3 little hyphens icon and go to more tools and go to developer tools. Either way, it should launch the developer tools. So the very first thing that you have to do is that inspect this particular element, because this is where we want to pass the value. So click on inspect, and this is the input box, we know that, and there are some parameters. So what is the parameters that we are going to use is what makes Protractor quite interesting. So we are going to use ng model. Okay, unlike type, placeholder on all these class and all these things, we are going to use the ng model. And by the way, if you want to know whether a website is an AngularJS website or not, I'm going to give a quick tip for that. Okay, for this site, let's say that I want to know whether this is an AngularJS website or not. Okay, head over to console and just say window dot angular. You see that it's coming with some values, and just say version. Okay, press enter, and you see that you are getting some options here, right? The object, the version, blah blah blah, etc. But let's say that you head on to some other website. Let's say we want to go to Google. Okay, and bring the developer tools. I have pressed F12 and just give the same here. Okay, window dot angular dot version. Okay, you see that you will get this error, uncaught type error, something like that. Okay, which means that it is undefined. Okay, which means that this is not an AngularJS app or application. So that's a simple test that you have to do before even starting working on the AngularJS testing. That is nothing but using Protractor in this case. Fine, so we have ng model here, right? So this is the locator that we have to use. So what we can do is that there is a global thing called element that we are going to use. Okay, and by the way, if you want to read about that, because I want to keep this as short as possible, I'm not going through and walking through all these things. So element is what I was talking about. So if you take element, you can take help of all these things that are available right now. So what I'm going to take into consideration right now is the property, the locator by. Okay, by, and I'm going to use CSS. Okay, I'm going to show you that. Don't worry about that. Okay, so once you are here, you see that it gives clear information. You have to pass the element array finder here. So if you are from Selenium, you should be familiar with this, right? Driver dot find element by dot CSS, something like that. So you just give by and click on dot, and you will get all these bindings, all these different kinds of bindings. Okay, the binding that we are going to use by dot, there is something called model. Okay, if you, by the way, this is a very good website. If you just search like this, it will show you. Okay, you click on this model and you see that by dot model and pass the model name. Okay, in our case the model name is nothing but your name. So first we need to pass this. You need to pass this as like this, and by dot model. Okay, inside this you have to pass the string. The string is nothing but whatever that you see here as the value, your name. So make sure that you copy this. Okay, because it's case sensitive, so you make sure that you copy this. And then what you need to do is that just remember one thing, that all the elements or everything within Protractor testing that we are writing right now are promises based, which means that the elements do not get any value by themselves. Okay, they give promises. I think it's better not to discuss that because we'll be running into a huge thing right now. So just search quickly what are promises, because every element or everything that even expect, which is from Jasmine, okay, it gives a promise. So once we are, this is nothing but an element here. Okay, just click on dot and you should be able to, right now we were able to find the element, right? So use send keys command and just pass my name. I'll pass my name KHAJA, right? Just enter. Okay, now let's try to click on this icon and see if this is working or not. Okay, it will be very fast, it may not be visible for us even. Okay, but you see that it has passed, right? If there was any failure, it would have shown us. So let me show you, let me give you some sleep and sleep time. EEP, right? How come I'm giving EPP? Maybe I'm sleeping. All right, let me give some 5 seconds. Okay, whatever that the time that you are giving, make sure to take care about those zeros. Okay, if you give more than these zeros, you may have to wait those many number of into milliseconds, something like that. So right now these are 5000 milliseconds. Come on, 5000 milliseconds. So this is nothing but 5 seconds. Okay, so let me try to run this now, and the browser will halt after the last command, that is after the string that is khaja is passed, and you should be able to see, hopefully. All right, okay, there we go. So we have entered that, and the next thing that we have to do is that we have to find the hello khaja, right? For that, what I'm going to do is that, be very careful about here. Okay, so if I try to find this element, okay, there is no certain property that I can use, right? It might be looking like this, but as I told you, this is an AngularJS application, and if you have little understanding about AngularJS, you know that this is a binding value, right? So right click on this, go to view page source, and okay, hold on a second, this is too much. Okay, I am going to copy hello, because I don't want to go through the entire URL and source code and find where it is. So the best thing is that to do like this. Okay, now I have found it. You see this hello. Okay, and whatever the value that you are getting here, right, whatever the value that you are getting after hello, you are getting khaja, right? That value is nothing but this one, your name. So whatever that you are typing inside this input box, it is binded by this value, your name. Okay, so we are going to use this binding, that is nothing but your name. Now how you can use that inside element by dot, we have something called binding. Okay, by dot binding, and give that value here. Okay, and I'm going to say dot get text. Now it will give me the text. Okay, but as I said earlier, this is a promise. Okay, I cannot directly print it. So what I can do is that I can take the help of then. Okay, this is nothing but matches. I mean, don't be concerned at this point of time if you do not know what a matcher and all. So we are not going to be concerned about that. And what it will do is that from here onwards, whatever the value that you get out of this, it can be a value, it can be element, whatever. Okay, that will be passed as a parameter. You can give any parameter. Okay, you can give text, you can give blah blah blah, you can give anything. Okay, that is really not a concern. So what we will do is that we will say console, because I want to print it on the console, dot log, and pass that. Okay, pass that blah, whatever it is, right? So let me try to run this now. Click on this, and hopefully it should run. Okay, it has launched the AngularJS.org. Let it close. Okay, I don't want to. You see that it has printed hello khaja. That is all. That is all. Okay, you might be wondering if it is that easy. If you really felt that whatever that I have written is easy so far, there is no complexity. That is all it has got. But if you are coming from Eclipse, the way that I have come from Eclipse to WebStorm, it's quite interesting, because in Eclipse, the way that I felt comfortable with Eclipse is that it gives only related to that particular object, right? If you are creating an object and trying to use the methods, it will only give the methods or its variables, the static, whatever it is, only of that object or the class. But here, if it matches, okay, let me say dot, and just let me type G. Okay, you see that it need not be starting with G. Even if it is at some place, it gives that kind of. I may not be liking this, but because that I'll be working on Protractor for quite some time now, maybe I'll get used to this, I'll get over this. right? So that is all about this. If you have any questions, post your comments below, and I'll be more than happy to answer your questions. And hold on a second, I promised you that I'm going to walk you through the architecture, right? So I have not forgotten that. So let me go to the let me open this. Okay, I just copied this, and yeah, this is not something that I have created. Yeah, I'm bad at creating all this, so I have copied from this. This is the source. If you want to find a lot better way of reading this than what I'm showing here. Okay, so let me put this in maximum mode, right? So here we are. So whatever the test that you are writing, okay, let's try to understand the scenes behind what is happening and the basic architecture. It's very simple architecture. Protractor is nothing but it's a wrapper around the WebDriver JavaScript, okay? And for you to understand WebDriver JavaScript is not a Selenium, okay? It's not Selenium, but it's a Selenium language bindings, okay? It's a language binding of Selenium that is written in JavaScript, okay? There are a lot of JavaScript language bindings available, but WebDriver JS is one of that. But the very unfortunate thing, or I don't know, thing is that if you try to go to Google and search for what is that WebDriver JS, you will not be able to find any website starting with WebDriver JS. Okay, if you click on this, it will be a messy kind of thing because you're not going to WebDriver JS, you are going to Selenium. That is not where we want to look at. Okay, let's try to click on the next item, WebDriver IO. What the hell is this, right? But this is the URL. Okay, they have changed the name from WebDriver JS to WebDriver.io. So don't be concerned if you do not hear a lot of WebDriver JS these days. Okay, it's right now WebDriver whatever IO or whatever, right? So just expand this. So right now you can say it's built on top of WebDriver IO. Okay, whatever you feel comfortable. So it's nothing but a wrapper around Protractor, which means that whatever the methods that you are seeing today, the methods that we have written or whatever that you find in the Protractor API, it need not be all the Protractor things. Okay, it has extended the WebDriver JS library. So some of those you might be finding are maybe coming from WebDriver JS also. Okay, and as I said, its Protractor is built on Node, right? So you have to have Node installed. If you do not have Node installed, your application will not work, right? So these are all the tests that we have written, right? The next thing is that I have not shown you server, right? Let me show you that also. Let me show you that as well, because our test cases, they do not run directly in our browser. They take help of the Selenium server, and only through that our application, that AngularJS application, runs through that server. Okay, so that is the basic architecture. Okay, this is the navigation that it happens. Your test cases, they go through the server and to the browser. Okay, it might look a little confusing, but try to remember those words. Your test cases through server, go to browser. Your test cases through server, go to browser. Okay, yeah, stupid thing, but still, yeah. So try to understand this. Okay, this is how the flow is. You write the test case, it passes through server, right? And yeah, try to read this. The all communication all happens between your node, right? And how it happens between server and your local browser is through the JSON wire protocol. Okay, this is the communication protocol, the same communication protocol that we have even for the normal Selenium also, right? Between your language bindings, most of you, I know that write Java, or some of you use Python also, right? This is the communication that happens is with the help of the JSON wire protocol. Okay, so this is the basic architecture. It's very, very important for us to understand what's happening behind the scenes. Okay, because all that we are doing right now in our application is that we are just clicking on this, but how is that it is launching the browser? That is very important for us to understand. All right, so did I promise something? Yes, I think so, right? Did I forget again? Hold on a second. What did I promise you guys that I'm going to show you? Oh, okay. Let me show you this example. Let me let me go to this protractor example. Okay, and let me open these couple of things in Notepad, edit with Notepad. Okay, let me close this. So these are the two things that I want to run through the Notepad. Let's say that I don't have any IDE installed on my machine, right? So the thing that we want to do is that we want to run from the command line prompt, right? Command prompt, not line. Okay, whatever. So the way that we do is that okay, let me put to JavaScript. Where is JavaScript? Okay, so that it recognizes. It's fine. It's still fine if you don't, right? Full file path. Okay, so let me navigate to that, change directory, paste. Okay, so let me be here. It will fill. So I'm in this path right now. If you see that I'm inside example. So the way that we write is that run this from the command prompt is that we take the help of the protractor, and we have to pass conf, not the specification file. Okay, and run. It will fail. Let's see. Wow. Yeah, I think the Selenium server is already running, so that is the reason why it is passing. Or just give me a second. Let me do one thing. Okay, let me close this. I believe I know the reason why it is working. So let me run this again. You see that it is starting the Selenium server. I think they have changed a few things, because earlier I had to start the server in one instance of the terminal, and in the second instance of the terminal I had to run the test case. But right now it's absolutely fine, right? Everything is running. So that is all about the protractor. That is all about the AngularJS testing. Leave your comments. Let me know if you want to see anything. Hopefully I'll be creating an end-to-end testing framework, hopefully in the next few, not hours, right? Next few days. All right, see you later.